I grew up believing my fate was already written for me, that no matter what I did, I was destined to struggle. And for the longest time, I believed it. But here's what took me 20 years to realize, and what I'll tell you in the next 10 minutes. If you've ever felt stuck, no matter how much you achieve, happiness still feels out of reach, this video is for you. Growing up in an immigrant Vietnamese family, we honestly didn't have much, but we were happy. Except there was always this belief passed down, superstition, and that the year and time that I was born would define my fate. As I was born in ox year at around 11 a.m., or what my mom thinks is around 11 a.m., I was told by my mom constantly that my life was going to be a struggle because that's the time that an ox wakes up to do their cattle work. I wasn't meant to have the luxury life, but I was meant to just work. I was told that I was going to struggle and I was going to be poor, and no matter what I did, it honestly wouldn't be enough. And then growing up like this, that you're constantly being told this. So that belief was engraved in my mind. And as I watched my family struggle, they've dealt with financial hardship, gambling, survival mode, like literally the whole entire life. My family's been on survival mode, and they've never thrived because they had a lack of financial education, I would say, and they didn't know how to save. They would make $1 and spend $5. Dealing with that and being just survivable, I promised myself that I would break that cycle. So I moved at around 16. I lived with my brother for a couple of years, and then I moved into my aunt's home, which it was a government home, and I was living with my two little cousins and my aunt. She was a single mom at that time, so she didn't mind taking me in because I would watch her kids, and she would do groceries and do whatever she needed to do. But the first time in my life, I actually had a lot of freedom living with my aunt. I can do whatever I want. Meanwhile, living at home, it was really strict. I wasn't really allowed out. I never gave people my number, especially boys or anything like that. So no one would ever really call it a house. But when I lived there, I had a lot of freedom. It opened my mind to a lot of opportunities, and really moving away from the negativity that my family or my mom ingrained in me as I was growing up. I moved at a really young age. I started working at 16. I worked during the summertime. I worked at a Aritzia warehouse. It was literally a gong show, but that was one of my first jobs working there. And later on, while I was in school, I also worked at Guess part-time, and I saved up a little bit of money. Worked at those retail jobs, and I knew that retail wasn't for me because I just didn't like it. Deep down, I always knew I was meant for more, and I believe money was the way out. If I could just make a little bit more money, everything would be fine. And as I grew up, as I learned more, and honestly, without a degree, I've manifested a six-figure job. Then I climbed up even higher, making over about one of the years I made over $250,000 using the skills that I've built. I did work a full-time job. I started on e-commerce online, and also I did permanent makeup in that 1 year. So I did a lot of things too. And in that year also, I bought a property, which I was really proud of. But on the outside, I looked happy, but I honestly felt a little empty inside. When I reached that peak, I didn't feel like money was what I really wanted. When I left BC about 7-8 years ago, BC is where I truly call my home. I currently live in Ontario. It's something that really changed me and changed my life. After having a family, I felt like I lost myself even more. When I left BC and moved to Ontario, I already felt lost. Like, I left my friends, I left everything behind, I left my six-figure job, and I was just lost. But honestly, lost and depressed for a couple of years. Even though it didn't look like it on the outside, I was not really happy, even though I had a good job here. So one day I finally just stopped and asked myself, like, why am I not happy? Like, I have the perfect partner, I have the most amazing job, I don't have any bills, I'm not in debt, I had the perfect family. So the epiphany came to me that happiness doesn't really come from achievements. And that's something that a lot of people realize after they achieve it, especially with millionaires, because once they've reached that millionaire status, or once they've hit the $1 million or $10,000 a month or $100,000 a month, they're like, this is it. I'm still not happy. It's something called arrival fallacy. The arrival is the false belief that happiness will come once you reach a specific goal, whether it's making a certain amount of money or quitting your 9-to-5 job, hitting a business milestone, or achieving a dream you've worked for. That mindset of I'll be happy when I make 6 figures. I'll be happy when I take a vacation. I'll be happy when I work full-time online, things like that. But then when you get there, instead of the happiness, you feel empty, or you feel like you need to fulfill another goal or chase another goal to feel that high again. So let's talk about why this happens, okay? So once your brain adapts to that new reality, it's called hedonic adaptation. Once you achieve something, your brain quickly normalizes it and you start craving the next thing. Then that's why millionaires still want more and why business owners keep moving to the next goals, right? And the other thing, external goals doesn't equal internal fulfillment. If you tie your happiness to external achievements, you risk feeling lost once you reach them, because happiness is more about who you are rather than what you accomplish. Although it is nice to have it, but at the end of the day, that's why a lot of people who have money, or let's say Robin Williams, one of the funniest people on earth, he was making a lot of people laugh, but inside he was depressed, and that's what led to his suicide, which is very sad. But it really comes down to the lack of deeper meaning. If your goals doesn't align with your deeper purpose, they won't feel as fulfilling once you achieve them. You're like, okay, Tina, how do you avoid this? So what I've learned is enjoy the process of getting there and not just the outcome of when you get there. So true happiness comes from the love of the journey, not just the end goal. So it's about the journey, not about the destination. Find joy in the work itself, and that will bring you so much more joy and happiness and self-fulfillment. Also, define your success beyond your achievements. Ask yourself what actually makes you fulfilled. And often it's the connection, the impact, the freedom, and not just number or milestone. Who did you actually help today? Like when I'm feeling down, like the best thing to do is to make someone else happy. And in return, you're 10 times happier than before once you start doing that. You probably hear a lot of this from gurus. Practice gratitude and your presence instead of always looking ahead. Take time to appreciate what you truly have now. And I know Oprah is a big person on working on your gratitude and really be fulfilled with what you have now versus what the lack of what you don't have, because you're going to keep attracting the lack. Versus if you're grateful for all the money that you have now, your health and your wealth, the universe really listens to you and will bring you more of those things. If you're focusing on lack, oh, I don't have money, I don't have this, my car keeps breaking down, the universe is gonna keep bringing that to you. I remember when I made that $250,000 a year, I was the happiest person on the planet in terms of everything going my way. Like I would never get a ticket. I would just everything just went my way, and I know that in my mind that year everything will always work out, and that's always been my mindset there after that. How you can also avoid arrival fallacy is align your goals with a bigger purpose. If your goals serve a higher purpose, like helping others, creating impact, living in alignment with your values, they are definitely more fulfilling. So going back to my story about, I just went off track. Going back to my story about how I moved here, I was unhappy for so many years, and I found and the epiphany came to me one day, like I probably don't love myself, even though I say that I do. I probably don't, because and how you can know that is you'll show up for other people more than yourself. For example, if I'm going to work out with someone and I would show up for them if I'm really sick, but they're like, oh, you already booked, you already said you were coming. So in myself, my mind is, I need to go there and show up for them, versus actually should take care of myself and stay home. Something along those lines are not putting yourself first, and you just don't love yourself. Okay. So after everything, I realized happening wasn't in just the numbers that were coming in, but it wasn't in how much money I made, where I lived, or what title I had in terms of occupation. It really came down to pretty much one thing, and that was my self-worth. If you don't love yourself, nothing you achieve will ever feel enough. And if you can't sit alone, eat alone, shop alone, and truly enjoy your own company, you haven't built that deep love for yourself. And if you don't build that love for yourself, no amount of success, money, or external validation will ever fill the void. How I found happiness again was after years of kind of just losing myself, and after having kids, you even lose yourself more because you devote your entire life to your kids. But about a year ago, everything changed. Instead of chasing the next milestone, I started practicing more gratitude, what I currently have, and really be at peace with myself. I also stopped seeking validation from others, and that was one of the biggest things. Like, I realized I don't need a big circle of friends or outside approval. What I need was just fully accept myself and love myself and just love me for me. Now, even though I'm not even in a full-time job, though my family has taken an income hit as I build my business right now, I feel the happiest I've ever been because for the first time I know exactly where I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to do, and I finally trust myself to create the life that I truly want, and everything just feels aligned, it feels good, nothing feels forced, and I truly feel great. The 5 lessons I've learned in the last 20 years, I'm 40 years old now, is clarity comes from action and not overthinking. You're one decision away from having the life that you truly want. And what's mainly holding you back is your fears. The one thing that's really stuck out to me is one of Hormozi's video. If you haven't heard of him, he's a big online guru. He said, if you're broke, if you're tired, if you're all those things, you shouldn't care about what other people think. And that's truly it. It's like 2025, people are uploading videos. Kids are making there's 20-year-old kids that are making millions and millions of dollars while you're sitting behind the screen scared to press play. Like, why? Just, you're talking to your camera, just get out there, put yourself out there. Really just put in the action and overcome that fear by taking little steps to get to what you really want. And sometimes what you truly want might not be what you want to do today. So let's say, for example, I wanted to make 6 figures, but the job that led me to those 6 figures wasn't the job that I truly want, but it helped me learn so much and grow as a person to truly find out what I want, So it's not about the destination. It's truly about the journey, what you've learned, what lessons you've learned, what can you take away, what can you teach others, and what can you pass on to your kids. So yeah, it comes from taking action and not overthinking. So my advice to you, whatever it is that you want to do, you want to start that YouTube channel, just hit the play button and upload, because at the end of the day, no one may even see the video. No one may see the video, and nobody honestly may care. It's just you are your own worst critic, so just do it for yourself and you'll be proud of yourself later on. The number 2 lesson, no one's coming to save you. I used to think that if I worked hard enough, the right opportunity would magically appear, but the truth is, no one is coming to give you permission. You have to take control of your own life and make it happen for yourself. Fight your way through it. Find the opportunities. Open your eyes for the opportunities, because sometimes we are so close-minded that we miss opportunities. Okay. Lesson 3 is your skills are your experiences. You may not have degrees or bachelors or luck, but your life experiences is your skill. If you share that to the world, you may help someone and you're going to feel good about it, and you may get monetized for it, right? So your skills do not really depend on a piece of paper that's on the wall, which is like your bachelor's or your university diploma, right? The other lesson is failure is the fastest teacher. I've honestly failed my way through so many things. Like, been on the online space for over 5 years now, and I've learned, I've implemented, I've failed a million times to find myself here today. I learned how to record videos, I learned how to write scripts, I learned DMs, I learned Instagram, I learned so many things, but I just never really succeeded with any of that stuff. But today I'm just like loving myself for just creating a YouTube channel, and I actually feel so good about it and feeling so aligned. Failure is your fastest teacher, so fail your way to the top. Keep failing until you reach that goal. Make sure it's also align with your purpose, because you're not going to feel happy once you reach there. The last lesson for me is your network is your net worth. For years, I've tried to do everything alone, but once I start investing in mentors, coaches, surrounding yourself with the right people truly matters. And that's where your growth is going to skyrocket. If you keep hanging out with the same people, your mind is just going to be at the same place. It's going to be stagnant and you're not going to be growing. Find an example of who you want to become, like a coach or whoever you want to become. Let's say you want to be a soccer player. You want to play like Messi. Look at him and visualize yourself becoming him and what you need to do to get there and who you need to hang out with to get there. You can't be changing life while hanging with the same crew that you did at 15 years old, drinking at a bar, whatever it is, right? You gotta network and get out there, get out of your comfort zone and start surrounding yourself with people that you want to become and people that can push you forward. So there you have it, 20 years of lessons just out of 10 minutes. I hope this resonated with you, and let me know in the comments which lesson hit home for you the most. If you're ready to take action and start your online business this year, it's never too late. I have a bunch of resources that you can download for free. I hope you like this video, and I'll see you on the next one.